By a show of fingers, who heard the news today that the Biden administration supports reclassifying marijuana from the strictest Schedule 1 classification to the less stringent Schedule 3? Who heard that news today? Anybody hear that?
That
No
was
one?
today?
Today, announced this afternoon.
Wow.
Okay, just to clarify, Schedule 1 is defined as a drug with no accepted medical use and a high potential for abuse. That's the current classification. Schedule 3 includes substances such as Tylenol with codeine, steroids, and testosterone. By rescheduling cannabis, the drug would now be studied and researched to identify possible medical benefits, opening the door to pharmaceutical companies to get involved with the sale and distribution of medical marijuana in states where it is legal. That's what today's action would mean. By a show of fingers, based upon what I described, who supports this move? All 8 of you. Angelina, why do you support it?
Everything is a choice, and people know what they're getting into with the medications that they're on and the different drugs that are out there. And they're all adults normally, legally, so they can make informed decisions based on their knowledge.
Anybody have a different reason why you support it? Cooper.
I think having marijuana as a class 1 drug and looking at the other drugs within that class, like there's a wide disparity between like marijuana and heroin. So I think lowering that class and again, like giving the people the right to use that in a medical sense makes a lot of sense.
Ryan, why do you support it?
Similar to Cooper, I don't think that it's on the same level as heroin. Like, I think it's, if people want to use something like marijuana, which has a lot less effects than heroin to the human body, I think they should be allowed just to use it without being fear of being criminalized.
And by a show of fingers, who gives President Biden credit for rescheduling marijuana? Show of fingers. Who gives him credit for this?
I have a question. Did he schedule it like today? Or
it's a just without going into too much detail, Ryan, it's a long bureaucratic process.
Okay, yeah, okay, I got
basically,
it. Yeah.
Essentially, the government's moving in made a major step forward today in reclassification.
Okay.
So how many of you give him credit? All 8 of you do. Okay. For how many of you is this a voting issue? He stands up and says, I reclassified marijuana. How many of you are going to go, yeah, that's a good reason to vote for you. That's a big consideration for me. For 6 of you. Okay. Finally, one of the last questions, last topic. By a show of fingers, who heard the news today that the Biden administration supports reclassifying marijuana from the strictest Schedule 1 classification to the less stringent Schedule 3? Who heard that news today? Anybody? One of you had. Okay. So very quickly. So Schedule 1 is defined as a drug with no accepted medical use and a high potential for abuse. Schedule 3, the new designation, includes substances such as Tylenol with codeine, steroids, and testosterone. By rescheduling cannabis, the drug would now be studied and researched to identify possible medical benefits, opening the door for pharmaceutical companies to get involved with the sale and distribution of medical marijuana in states where it is legal. By a show of fingers, who supports this move by the Biden administration? Six of you. Bill, why?
I just think that, marijuana and its uses fit that criteria more because there are already like some observable health benefits to using, I believe it's CBD.
Okay, got it. Anybody have a different reason why you support it? Ethan?
I think it can be really good for the economy, and marijuana is going to come in whether it's illegal or legal, so we might as well capitalize on it. And you can also take that tax money. Like I know in Colorado, they've used some of that money for the schools. So you could take that money and put it to good use.
Got it. By a show of fingers, who gives President Biden credit for rescheduling marijuana? Who gives him credit? 5 of you. Okay. Is it a voting issue for any of you? For a couple of you, it's something to be consideration. Okay.